Hi, everyone. So, one of the reasons why I am here doing what I do is because I absolutely, with my whole heart and body, believe in the freedom and sovereignty of each individual person in their body, especially in the category and area of pleasure and sexuality. And I am so excited to talk about what is alive for me today and this remembrance, this continuous remembrance of why it is so vital to feel empowered and sovereign in our bodies and in our sexuality. My name is Taria. If we haven't met yet, I am your rewilding coach in all things sex, love, and life. So it can be, I don't want to say easy, but I can get into periods where I genuinely forget how important this work is that I do. And that can be because it just becomes more like my daily life. So I forget what it's like to be a beginner. And secondly, because the world is filled with a lot of messages and environments that teach us that it's not important to be powerful, strong, safe in your sexuality, or that it's not, or that it's wrong to even have desires. And even with all of the tools that I have, I can forget how vital this is, except I never actually forget. So I'm here to talk with you today about why your body, why your aliveness, why your pleasure is so valuable, so beautiful, and so important. And so I even speak to that. And when I speak to that, I'm also acknowledging that if you are in the experience where you don't feel connected to your pleasure, where you don't feel connected to your body or your sense of self or your aliveness, I hear you and I feel you, and I want to fully acknowledge that in itself can be so exhausting and suffocating and can cut oneself off from connection with life, from connection with your own vitality. And don't let anybody tell you that it's not like that you don't get to have that. Because I'm here to teach you that this is yours, that this what you're desiring, whether it's to feel more connected to your body or your partner, or orgasm, or to have better sex or more expansive sex, this desire that you have is so worthy of attention and love. And you get to have this. You get to have this. Why is it so important to have these experiences? There is literally proof that shows that having a connection to your sexuality, to your orgasm, to pleasure can be insanely helpful for mental health, for your body's physical health. It is proven that it is such medicine and so good for you. So if there's anything in your life that is cutting you off or making it really difficult to access this, I would encourage you to create a safe space for you to have more energy and permission to be in your aliveness. And I'm not saying this because it's easy necessarily. I just want to give you permission to want this, to have this. I grew up in a world where even talking about sex was not allowed. I didn't get taught how to be with my body. I got taught how to disconnect from my body. I got taught how to dislike and shame my body and sexuality. So it wasn't easy for me to access that space of aliveness until I educated myself, until I was guided and taught by a community of powerful, I mean, for me it was witchy women, but for you it can be whoever, on how to be safe and thriving in my own body, in my sexuality, in my essence, in my power. And I really needed to be, invited into that space, because at the time it was really scary to even fathom anything else. And I didn't even have the vocabulary to speak to it, even though it was something that I felt inside of my heart and soul that I was missing. I didn't have that permission that my body could feel differently, or that I could ask for what I wanted in bed, or that I could speak my truth without being outcasted or burned on the stake. I didn't have that knowledge and safety inside of myself. So creating a space where you can either be guided by somebody else, like I would be obviously deeply honored to guide you and support you and love you. That is what I am here for, and am constantly in this remembrance of how vital it is for each and every person. And especially I get to see it through the lens of my clients, how vital and important it is to feel a sense of aliveness and connection with oneself. Like, there's just so much pure joy and love that lives there. And I want that for each and every one of you. I want you to experience yourself in the way that feels super yummy and delicious and connected and exciting. I want you to be excited and turned on by your existence. When you look in the mirror, I want you to feel good and see yourself. I want you to see your power, because I have the ability to see other people's power, especially my clients. But if you or they are coming from a world where you were taught to be small and to hide and to shut down, and that it wasn't safe, it's going to be really hard and scary to see yourself in that way. So I stand here with a torch and a reclamation of seeing your power, seeing your beauty and your potential for pleasure, for orgasm, for goodness, for aliveness, for, reverence of who you are, to be adorned. I stand here for that because, and the reason why I can do that is because I did the very same thing for myself, and I had that done for me. I went through all of the things that I guide my clients through. And I constantly am bringing myself back into that learning or unlearning, the rewilding. I have daily practices of check-ins of love, and I look at myself in the mirror, and I do these practices that I teach my clients and stay in that remembrance. And I too forget. You never really forget. I guess I shouldn't say forget, but I too take periods of time where I choose to not be in that reclamation, and that's okay. We're not perfect, and we're only just going to continue to come back into that energy over and over again, and each time it's going to get a little bit easier. And I promise you, it is so worth it just to feel that sense of power, that sense of belonging, that love and connection within. This is unstoppable energy. This is what I mean by unstoppable is this is where I think life thrives, in that energy, and where creation happens, which is why I think it's so feared by the patriarchy. All right, so coming back to close up, I want you to know that your desires are so beautiful and that there are so many answers to your questions around what it's like to feel like yourself, to be in your aliveness, to be in your power, to be in your pleasure, to understand your unique flavors of experiencing pleasure or orgasm. I want you to know that there are so many answers to your questions and that your desires are so beautiful and your body is sacred. Your pleasure is magnificent and your body is fully capable of experiencing what you desire to experience, whether that's deeper love or more expanded pleasure or power or connection or presence. And I'm here with you every step of the way, calling it back in, calling it back home, calling you back home into yourself, into your truth, into your sense of wild, because it's so fun to play here. So whoever needed to hear this today, loving you so much, wherever you're at, you're doing great. And if you have any questions or if you need me, I'm here for you. I've got you. Loving you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being here for yourself in whatever way that looks or feels today. Can you thank your body? Can you just even 1% breathe in a sense of reverence for who you are and your pleasure? And you feel your power, your love, your expansion. And is there one thing you can do for yourself today? One thing that you could do for your body? Maybe it's gentle strokes or massage or spending a few moments to be in self-pleasure. Maybe that's eating some delicious fruit or chocolate. Can you be with yourself? Give yourself permission to be in your wholeness, in your uniqueness, in your wild, your weird, your silly, your sacred, your turn-ons. Loving you so much gratitude. Thank you for being here. Welcoming you home to your wild, to your full, authentic aliveness.